menjelang perlawanan final yang ikonik ini, kita berjaya menjemput dua bintang KL City, dua ikon dan tonggak utama KL City, iaitu Giancarlo dan juga Kenny Palraj, untuk turut bersama kita untuk satu episod yang special, iaitu kita nak mengimbas semula aksi final Piala Malaysia pada tahun 2021, di mana Kenny dan Gigi berjaya membantu KL City mencipta sejarah yang luar biasa dalam menumpaskan JDT 2-0 dalam final tersebut. 2 tahun kemudiannya, mereka akan bertembung kemudian di final Piala FA pula kali ini. Jadi untuk prepare untuk final Piala FA, kita nak mengimbas semula final 2021. First and foremost, Gigi dan juga Kenny, terima kasih. Sebab saya tahu, this is a really difficult week. It's the preparation week, right? Leading up to the game. Sebelum kita nak berbicara tentang perlawanan 2021, maybe I can start with Kenny dulu. Dalam beberapa hari menjelang perlawanan final ini, apa perasaan ataupun mood di sebalik kem pasukan KL City pada ketika ini?
Bagi saya, mood dikatakan lebih bersemangat lah. Tapi kita tahu satu misi yang agak sukar untuk kita lalui, tapi dalam bola sepak itu yang kita mahukan. Every time kita nak satu high competition games, and we always look forward to this kind of intense games. So saya rasa dari segi pemain semua tengah buat persiapan yang bagus. So saya harap kita boleh bagi persembahan yang terbaik lah.
Persembahan terbaik. Kenny spoke about the fact that this is the time where KL, everyone is really just gearing up sort of for the final. From your point of view, Gigi, I mean, you've had multiple battles with JDT at this point in time. We're going to talk in depth a bit more about the 2021 in just a bit, but what exactly is the team anticipating heading into this game? Because in the last few league encounters, it hasn't been very easy going up against this JDT team.
Yeah, listen, every year since I've been here, they've improved. And you're fighting a giant. This is a team that, rightly so, has the best players in the country, plays the best football. But something that I think is our superpower is that I think KL City has the biggest heart and the best camaraderie. So, yeah, we could lose 9 times, but we'll always come back, and every single time we'll believe we have a chance. And I think that's our superpower. That's our biggest benefit. That's the strongest thing about us. And we're going to go into this game like we go into every game, and gear up like we always do for knockout games specifically. And we're going to go swinging until the final whistle.
KL, seperti yang kita sedia maklum, dalam 3 tahun lepas dah masuk 3 final, betul-betul pasukan knockout specialist, boleh kita katakan. Jadi kita mula dengan kita imbas kembali semula perlawanan final Piala Malaysia 2021. Kenny, ini adalah perlawanan yang sangat ikonik dalam konteks bola sepak Malaysia kerana tak banyak pasukan yang ada kemampuan untuk mencabar dominasi JDT, apatah pula dominasi JDT di pentas sebuah final. That must have been extraordinary in 2021.
Yeah, the feeling was totally different. Perasaan tu memang nak susah untuk kita explain lah. Tapi bila kita masuk dalam padang with the crowd, with the emotion, dengan semua situasi itu, kita lupakan semua benda. So bila kita masuk padang, kita tak kisah siapa lawan kita. Bagi saya, personally, lawan pun ada 2 kaki, kita pun ada 2 kaki, ada 1 bola atas padang, kita tengah bermain. So apa-apa kita boleh lakukan.
What was the mood like, Gigi? Because Kenny just spoke about the fact that there was a sense of fearlessness going into this particular game. Like, what was the boys feeling like? Especially when you stepped onto the pitch, you saw the stadium, the fans and everyone. What was the general feeling like at that point?
Yeah, my bahasa sikit, but I understood a little bit of what Kenny was saying, and I was just looking at us lining up. And I remember everything. I've got such a big smile, and I remember Kenny was actually nursing a previous injury from the game before, but we felt like he summed it up perfectly by saying we were fearless. We came out there, and you hear that team talk, and there's not one player scared to play this game. We were so excited, and it came out, and straight from the start, I remember a big moment where Kenny's pressing Bergson, and he takes a touch over him, and then we block a shot, and me and Kenny start screaming at each other. And it's like 2 minutes into the game, and I'm looking at him, and I think he's ready. He's ready for war. I'm ready. He's ready. And it was straight away from the start. The feeling was, it was beautiful, man. It was a beautiful game.
Straight away from the start, terus dari permulaan, satu benda yang sangat ketara, the one obvious thing, Kenny and Gigi, adalah dari minit awal perlawanan kita nampak bahawa JDT meletakkan tekanan. Tengok larian Bergson daripada sini, itu adalah indikasi bahawa mereka mahu beraksi dengan intensiti yang tinggi.
So bila game dah start tu kita boleh tengok dia orang dah start press, dia orang dah bagi dia orang like they are coming to eat us or something like that. So itu adalah masa kita nak buat keputusan.
That's right.
Kita nak membenarkan dia orang makan kita atau kita nak membahan dia orang balik. Kita nak baham dia orang balik. So kalau kita boleh nampak, saya rasa dalam minit ke berapa Bergson ada satu shot yang kena palang ke atau kena tiang something. So that point of time we were like, okay, let's go. This we need to do something of this. We need to make them get pressed. So kita start communicate and we start. Yes, this was the exact moment I think.
Ini adalah peluang pertama untuk KL City, di mana ada hantaran yang cantik ke dalam kotak penalti. Dia ada sentuhan yang baik, first touch yang baik. At that point it must have felt like, oh, these guys mean business.
Sorry, man. I'm watching this game, and it brings back such good memories, man. It brings back such good memories. And I remember just a little story before. I remember me and Daniel, we used to roomie before the game, and we were watching a documentary about Muhammad Ali, and I think he was fighting Sonny Liston. And he was saying that the best way for him to get in his head was to try to make him realize that he was crazy, he was fearless. And we were having this conversation the whole night, saying, that's the only way you can go against Goliath, you know, when you're David, is just to say that you have no fear. So for the whole game, me and Daniel were screaming at everyone and yelling at each other, and we were celebrating every block and every win, and it just started to grow with every minute. It grew and it grew, and the belief started to get bigger and bigger, and you could feel it on the field, you know.
I remember, saya ingat ketika perlawanan ini berlangsung, ia adalah beberapa bulan selepas ketibaan Bergson di pentas bola sepak Malaysia, dan seluruh arena bola sepak Malaysia pada ketika itu ada demam Bergson. There was a Bergson fever around the Malaysian football fans, and it's understandably so sebab dia adalah seorang pemain yang luar biasa dari segi kebolehannya di atas padang. Apa conversation yang mungkin Kenny, Gigi dengan Daniel dengan coaching staff yang ada sebelum perlawanan dan juga ketika perlawanan? Apa yang perlu dilakukan untuk menghentikan gerak-geri Bergson?
So basically untuk menjadi satu player yang quality, kita kena ada deliverance yang berkualiti. So if you don't get delivered with the good passes, you are not going to do anything. So setiap kali kita kena press orang yang ada bola. Itu yang kita lakukan. Bukan saja defender, let's say from the strikers, diorang dah start press bola, midfield dah start press bola. So daripada 10 biji hantaran yang bagus dia dapat 2 ataupun 3. So ratio untuk dia buat conversion rate for a goal is getting lesser. So bila benda tu berlaku, so kita pun dapat bekerjasama, dan macam Gigi cakap, semua player macam masuk gila. So everyone was screaming, everyone was shouting, everyone was supporting each other, and yes, this was the moment where like Bergson hit the post and the ball came back, and we were like, okay, come on, wake up. We need to get more, we need to do more, you know. So benda ni pada hari tu semua rasa benda yang sama. So everyone was literally putting up their pace higher, giving all the best that they could, and others are history.
I want to come to this 32nd minute because Gigi, after almost 30 minutes, that was the first time KL knocked on the door a little bit, right? And it was a long wait. 30 minutes is a long wait in the context of a game. What exactly was the emotions running around at this point in time?
Well, we like I said prior, with every 5-10 minutes that's going by, you're starting to believe a little bit more. Maybe you can, maybe we can get it. And you know, it gets to, I remember that free kick, and the free kick doesn't even really go that well. We're trying to do a set piece. Zafri's not on perfect timing, but it started thinking like, oh, we're in their half. Okay, hold on. This giant is starting to tire. We're starting to get closer. And with all these little things, I remember the speech before the game, and we were saying 60 seconds by 60 seconds. We take it like just that minute we're trying to hold out, and then that minute we're trying to hold out. And you're getting to 30 and you're looking up and you're thinking, okay, we're doing okay. Yeah. We're doing okay. You know, you start, that belief starts to grow. And I keep saying that because that really was the sentiment. You could feel it. You could see it in the players' eyes because we knew we were so severely the underdog.
Yeah, like what Gigi said, no? For 25 minutes to 30 minutes, you were just being on your defending half, and suddenly in the 30th minute, you go into the attacking half. So it's like a big progression for you, you know? So it motivates you totally. It's like, okay, let's go. We can do this. They are getting tired because as long they need to run, they need to shift the ball, and we are doing good shifting on defending, and they are getting tired because they are not getting any space. And now we are breaking into their attacking half. So that was the positive sides that we looked onto actually.
The longer the game stayed 0-0, lebih lama perlawanan kekal 0-0, lebih tenang situasinya untuk pemain KL City. Tetapi JDT, sehingga tamat babak pertama pun mereka tetap masih lagi knocking on the door. Dan ini adalah satu peluang yang memerlukan save yang bijak daripada Kevin Ray Mendoza. And Kevin was on form as well that night. He was really, keeping it tight at the back, Kenny.
Yeah, if we see this was a very important save by Kevin. So, macam kita cakap, semua was on their peak at that point of time. So, everyone was ready to be talked, ready to listen, and ready to be advised. So, when we say anything, they were willing to accept and improvise their games. So, me, Gigi, and Kevin, I think every time anyone save, we go and shout, yeah, let's go, and okay, come on, do this, let's do this. And it was, for me, it was more on communication. We were talking like never before. Like, I think out of the 20 games what we spoke in one game. Out of that, what we did.
Yeah, cumulative, yeah.
Yeah, we accumulated everything, and in one game we spoke it out everything, and we expressed ourselves, and it was a great job.
And Bergson was being restricted to a lot of shots outside the box in that first half, actually.
And we were trying to take these little things as wins, I remember that incident just before with the header and this now. And like Kenny said, we're talking. And I remember that the Mauricio header, he goes to the back, and I'm celebrating with Kevin. And I said to Kenny, like, listen, you're showing him away. And we were just trying to get every little win. Every time they pass back, celebrate it. Every time he shoots from outside the box, and we celebrate it. Because let your confidence build. Let it build, And to all aspects of football, from 8th division in England to the World Cup final, the thing is relative, these moments. And big moments like this, there's those certain players that step up and they grab a hold of it. And for me, as much as everybody played excellent, Kevin came into, he was called upon. And it was, are you a boy or a man? And he made so many saves look comfortable. That save right there, it's going at him. He saves it, he goes down. But it's a save in a final. His first final for his first trophy in his first year in Malaysia. And he made it look calm. And every time he did that, we all felt calm. And more importantly, they got annoyed. And then that's how it starts to be.
There's a trickle-down effect,
Yeah.
right? Tapi sebelum itu, before we get into the second half, what was the conversation like in the dressing room at halftime? Because at this point, it's 45 minutes done. It's still 0-0. You're still in the game despite the barrage of attacks from JDT. Tetapi apa message yang disampaikan oleh Boyan Hodak pada halftime di dalam dressing room?
Apa yang dia cakap, so bagi player pun kita boleh nampak before this game, JDT was trashing all the teams. Semua team kena tengah bahang daripada dia orang. 2 biji, 3 biji semua. But when we came into the dressing room, it's 0-0. So what coach said? Great job, first half, 45 minutes, and it's 0-0. You have another 45 minutes to go. And if you keep doing what you have been doing all this while, they are going to be more pressure and we're going to go more attacks. Because in the last minute of the first half, we already started to attack. So what he said was they are getting tired. And we are getting more organized in defense. So when we go in on the second half, it's going to be we stick to what we have been doing, and slowly the space will be there for us to going to do some attacks. So for me, what he planned was genius, and it happened and it worked.
Kemudiannya babak kedua bermula, dan tak lama selepas babak kedua bermula, pasukan KL City ada satu peluang di sini di mana ada lorongan yang cantik ke arah Romel. It was a bit too quick for him. But that was a good indication that things can work out here.
Exactly. And these are the kind of things, it's so strange. But when you are so far the underdog, that feels like a massive chance. And that all these things are boosting the morale, And just to say on the halftime talk, it's in the Astro documentary because it's recorded in our change room. But it's me, Kenny, and I think Daniel, we're walking in and I'm saying over and over again, you can feel it, it's coming, and I'm pacing the change room and saying it's coming because we couldn't believe we had gotten to half time and it was still 0-0. It felt like we had already won one game and now there was a second game to play, So coming out to the second half, and then moments like this happening, we're like, oh, okay, hold on, we're starting to crack the back line, and Romel almost got through, and it was all starting to, like you said, we were starting to grow, and they were starting to tire, and it was having this trickle down effect, you know. Beautiful, man.
So this, I think about 15 minutes into the second half, there was a knock on the door, and then 5 minutes later, look, the crazy thing about this goal, Kenny and Gigi, was that even the live feed, the camera did not pick up
Yes.
the movement around it. We had to bank on the replays to get an understanding. But at this point, 65 minutes into the game, KL City strike first blood. And saya masih ingat bunyi di stadium pada ketika itu adalah a mix of kejutan dan
A
pada
shock,
waktu
yeah.
yang sama, like, what exactly just happened, Kenny? And boleh ceritakan sikit apa yang, gerak-geri yang menghala ke arah jaringan gol ni?
Bagi saya ini satu momen yang macam boleh dikatakan magic lah. Something unexpected, apa yang kita tak terfikir. So, semua tengah bekerja untuk defend, and suddenly we find a small loophole and things just pop, and this was a good run, and you see, just to walk over and across, and Zaf was right on the spot. We didn't expect, for Zaf to do all the defending, semua defending yang dia buat, and then untuk dia berada dalam D-box tu, satu kredit yang besar untuk dia sebab he memerlukan stamina yang banyak, tinggi untuk buatkan benda macam tu. So most of the time when we see, maybe tempat tu dah kosong, tak ada orang, bola tu lepas macam tu saja. So after two good crossover by Pati and then a good cross, and we see Zaf is there. Just tap it in.
Saya takkan lupa gambar Boyan dengan dia punya beep throughout that Malaysia Cup run. I mean, it was the funniest. Tapi two things, Gigi. One was like Kenny rightly pointed out, that run and that cross from Parthiban, who was, by the way, that season in the run-up to the Malaysia Cup final was insane, right? So that cross and that run, and then everyone being focused towards Romel, that Zafri was just left
In the back.
completely at the back.
And before the game, Boyan had said that the best chance that we had was basically, with frustration, they're going to push. And I think it's only a couple minutes before this happens, he subs the left winger, the left back, and he's doing the tactics on the side, and he pushes both the fullbacks up because he's trying to add extra numbers. And this was, I've got to give him so much credit tactically. It was exactly what he said would happen. Yeah. Exactly what he said would happen.
What had been taught to us.
And we were going to catch them on a counter. And, Paulo's been running, barely touching the ball, bombs over, flicks the header on. Parthiban is exhausted. He's been basically playing like a left wing back, going up and down, but has the time to take a breather, take a step over, put a beautiful cross in. And Zafri is sneaking at the back post, and then the rest is history.
And it just had to be Zaf as well, right?
Yeah.
One of those guys who's been through the ups and downs bersama pasukan Kuala Lumpur. Tak ada nama yang lebih baik daripada Zaf untuk mendapatkan gol pertama tu.
Actually, saya ada satu benda nak ceritakan lah. Sebelum final ni, actually before this final, I had spoken to two people personally, Paulo and Zaf. What I spoke to them was, you see, you have been in this club for very long. All that you have done in this club will be forgotten if you don't win this. If you guys win this trophy, and if you guys can do extra by scoring a goal in these finals, you will be remembered forever in KL. And
can you say
both
the
of
same
them,
speech to me before the final this year? Is that okay? Can you do that?
And I was so shocked that both of them scored the goals in these finals, and I was so happy for them.
Wow.
I spoke to them before the match. I told them, if you guys can win this cup, and if you can, both of you can score, KL will remember you guys you are the legend of KL. Yeah. Now, although you played for 10 years, 15 years, you are nobody because you have no achievement in KL. But when you win this, and by addition, if you score the goals, you are going to be the legends of this place. And both of them did. And I was like, wow, okay, I have some good.
It was written, huh?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Maybe I'll tell for you, Gigi.
Yeah, if you can, man.
It's crazy,
Yes.
sebab kalau ada dua nama dalam pasukan Kuala Lumpur ni yang menjadi lambang kepada identiti pasukan Kuala Lumpur yang bersama mereka turun naik across all the divisions, dua nama itu adalah Zafri dan juga Paulo Josue. And jarang kita tengok, it's very rare, right? I mean, obviously Gigi is an exception, dah 3 tahun with KL, but very rarely do you see a foreign player coming in and staying with the club for a prolonged period, especially when the club is going through plenty of ups and downs. But that's exactly what Paulo Josue did, right? And as the game continued, there was an expectation, that there was an anticipation that KL could pull this off, and then this happens. Paulo Josue, right? KL 1-0 up. It's one thing, People say lucky, sure, whatever, and then comes the 73rd minute, and Paulo Josue, the man.
It had to be him, huh?
It just had to be him.
The moment he chased the ball and he went towards the goal, he turned towards the goal, I knew it was a goal. In training sessions, anywhere the ball is on his left, it's a goal. The keeper, you have no chance at all. And when he chased the ball and it was in his left and he was towards the goal, I was like, okay, just run. Yeah. I was just literally running all the way because I know it's going to be a goal.
But look, if you see the look on even Mauricio's face, he knows. Right here he goes, oh okay. No. Yeah, he knows. He knows. Left foot like a wand. And it had to be him, man. It had to be him. And like you said, it's a two-way street. The club for always having faith in Paulo, and Paulo always having faith in the club. It is a partnership, and it's beautiful, man. The guy's been promoted and relegated and promoted, and had gone through all these trials and tribulations as a foreigner. So it's only him, wife and kids here. Yeah. It's not like he has family to go back to or what. And then you get to have this moment, and you get to have this moment after everything that you've gone through with the club, where you score and you score a beautiful goal. You're the captain, Bukit Jalil going crazy, and we're celebrating, and I'm kissing him on the head, and I'm so happy for him, and I just felt like it was the perfect cherry on top of the cake and whipped cream of the season. It had to be them two that scored.
It's like long waited for them to be crowned.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been waiting for this moment for very long, and we felt very special that after we came, they get to. It happens on them,
Yeah.
So being a part of what happened to them on their journey in KL, it's like a special thing for us too.
Ini adalah satu situasi yang sangat tak biasa kita tengok JDT. It's very unusual to see JDT dalam ruang di mana mereka berada di bawah tekanan tinggi. Dan ketika perlawanan ini menghampiri 10 minit terakhir, the last 10 minutes, you could feel the pressure building up for them, which is unusual because selalunya JDT yang akan dominate, JDT yang akan meletakkan tekanan tersebut kepada pasukan lain. Tetapi dalam perlawanan ini, 10 minit terakhir itu, apa yang dilakukan oleh KL? Kerana pada ketika itu, nampak seperti JDT, desperate to come back. Dan juga pada ketika itu, mereka berada di bawah tekanan yang tinggi. Apa yang berlaku di dalam organisasi pasukan KL City pada ketika itu untuk memastikan bahawa skor perlawanan boleh dikekalkan?
Bagi kami, after dah jadi 2-0, selepas 2-0 tu, apa yang kami cakap adalah buat benda yang sama. Jangan fikir kita tengah leading 2-0, jangan overconfident, jangan leka, jangan easy sangat stay down ke apa. Keep pressing. Press diorang, tolak diorang seatas mana yang kita boleh, jangan bagi diorang ruang untuk buat shooting, crossing. So we were so disciplined. Bagi saya, kita sangat disiplin, kita bercakap sama satu sama lain. Another 10 minutes to go. Kita dah lalui 80 minit. Kita ada lagi 10 minit je untuk menjulang piala ni. So just keep going. Give all you have. This is like your end of your life. This is the last game of your life. So kita memang bercakap antara satu sama lain untuk kekalkan disiplin dan momentum untuk stop diorang daripada attacking.
That last 10 minutes, there's continuous attacks, and then this happened. This happened right at the end, and I think everyone sort of just gripped onto their chairs and thought that, hang on a minute, this could go in. And there he was again, Kevin.
I told you, it was the moment. It was the moment that everybody's eyes were on him, and he stepped up, and he had a fantastic game. And every time he puts his body on the ball, we all have that big sigh of relief.
And you can see when after he kicked and the ball slipped off, you can see 3 players is coming to protect him. Yeah, we are all there for him. We are like, let's do this. We are going to do this together. Like, we need to protect each other. When Kamal Azizi went and pressed Shafi Ahmad, and when he did the kick, And when Kevin catch and leaves the ball, three of us go and protect him. So this is the thing that was happening right over there.
And you could feel emotions running high. Penyokong-penyokong sudah mula menaruh harapan. I think KL fans were a bit worried to have some hope before the game. And even as the game went on, there was a bit of hope. And here's where, I mean, these are towards the end. I mean, I remember you going down there as well, Kenny. And I know towards the end, right, in games like this, there's a lot of psychological warfare. There is. And in any game, at any level, there is psychological warfare. And was that something that was in play here where, trying to frustrate the opponent? That's part and parcel of the game, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest motive of it, So the only thing that we can do,
Everyone remembers this.
Satu benda yang kita boleh buat adalah kacau mental dia orang. So we know they're already getting down emotionally and they're getting frustrated, and we put more pain on them, it's like going to affect them more. And to be honest, sometimes we need to be so cruel to do these kind of things to kill some big peoples, So we brought it to the good extent, and I wanted to be stretched out. But when I see Boss Sooka was going to win, he's the legend, and this was the last match for him. So I stood up fast, and I want him to have a moment. And I was so proud to have the moment for him to, to substitute with him that he can play his last match.
And this was, I think, this GG, the sight of Sooka coming on was probably the peak of emotions that night, because there was an anticipation that a victory was possible here, and there was also an acceptance that Sooka is going to quite possibly retire on this level of a high. And we know it was, I've spoken to him before, he was incredibly emotional as well. We're towards the tail end of the game here, but was there something that Sooka said before the game or at halftime about what this occasion means to him?
So in the build-up, because it was knockout games in the Malaysia Cup, we were having this talk all the time, and he would always kind of say a little motivating thing, like, maybe this is my last year, guys, so give it your best. But then he says one speech before this game, and he gets emotional for the first time. And obviously, I've come to Malaysia and I've come to a team with these legends, and I'm learning throughout the year how big and all their achievements that they've had. So over the course of the year, I'm just getting fonder and fonder of Sooka and how much of a legacy he's had, but a legacy of a strong man, of a leader, of a boy's boy. And then there was this speech where he was getting really emotional before the game, and you could see how important this final was for him to be his last game. And then this moment, there's 10 seconds left and he's coming on, and it's just the perfect ending to his career. What a fantastic ending. And it was, you could feel it, then this guy whistles, and oh my God.
And then the whistle was blown.
Oh my gosh, man.
And before, when I came out, the scream that I did, that was the best relief that I ever had. It's like the whole load of pressure was thrown away from my body. I was like, finally, we have made it. 2-0, and you have another 1 minute to go, and you're being subbed out. It's like, your job is done. And we have made it at the end.
11 months before this happened, when I signed, I have a meeting with Stanley, which I signed my contract. We're taking the photos, and he says to me, objective number 1, don't get relegated. And 11 months later, I'm winning the Malaysia Cup with the whole country watching. I'm in absolute shock. I cannot believe how far we had grown and come in that short period of time,
Because for me, the dream of KL was very realistic. The reason why I signed for KL, one of the reasons was their realistic target. Because when Stan made us, what he said was, Super League, our target is, they didn't target for top 6 or anything, not to be relegated. For a team that is coming up, it's when you go for some teams, they will be like, oh, we need to be in top 4, we need to be on top 6, that kind of pressures will be there. But in KL, he said, okay, we don't be relegated. And I think this year we ended 6. We finished top 6. And we went to the Malaysia Cup finals and we won. But when he asked me personally, what's your target for Malaysia Cup? Because previously, I think the last was 2018 and then was this. I said, for sure, I want to go to the finals. Because as a player, everyone wants to play in the finals. And we were in the finals, and we didn't expect that. We will meet Johor, the biggest team in Asia and Southeast Asia, and then we beat them. And we won.
Just the sight of Paulo Josue, gambaran dia mengangkat trofi bersama Boyan adalah sebuah gambaran yang sangat ikonik, yang tak akan dilupakan. Saya rasa kalau anda beritahu Boyan bahawa dia akan memenangi Piala Malaysia bersama pasukan ini, apabila dia mengambil alih, saya rasa dia sendiri
Dia pun tak rasa lah.
Kenny, what are you
Yeah.
doing at the back?
I was just being a being a crazy guy, just jumping at the back.
This
You
one
know,
guy.
At that time, you don't know what you're doing. And once I'm back, I saw it. What the shit are you doing there, bro? You're like going crazy.
It's all the adrenaline.
Yeah, and
right?
then you don't care. You just do what you want to do. You are the champions, bro.
Yeah.
Who want to say what on you? Just do.
But Kenny, dalam situasi awak, ini bukan kali pertama.
Yeah.
Ini kali kedua anda memenangi trofi ini.
Yes.
Tetapi apa perbezaan perasaan menang kali pertama dan menang kali ini bersama Kuala Lumpur?
Bagi saya, yang first Piala Malaysia tu, that's a different topic lah. We can touch it. That's the best game I have ever played. That's like a different level of finals and the team that we raised up, and it was a different story. But like what you said, untuk KL baru 6 bulan. Saya berpindah daripada klub saya yang sebaik untuk 7-8 tahun. Lepas tu saya datang ke klub KL yang tim yang baru tengah membangun, yang tengah try nak buat something. Lepas tu you main Johor in a final and you win 2-0. So for me, satu benda saya buat satu keputusan yang baik dan memilih satu pasukan yang bagus untuk saya datang ke sini. Dan lagi satu adalah saya menjadi salah satu one of the core teams to bring KL to all the way to the finals, and we win, and to be part of KL's history. So all this is like a very special thing for me lah. So itu yang membuat saya jadi orang gila kadang-kadang padang tu.
Sehari selepas perlawanan final ni, melihat celebration Paulo Josue dengan individu-individu lain yang memainkan peranan dalam pasukan kelab, saya ada berbual dengan rakan-rakan yang I spoke to some friends who are football fans as well, and there's 3 layers to this KL success, right? First layer adalah KL memenangi Piala Malaysia, memenangi piala selepas sekian lama mengalami a lot of troubles, right? After so many years of troubles, they finally won a trophy. The second layer is the guys that scored in the final adalah KL through
boys.
and through.
Yeah.
Zafri Yahya, Paulo Josue, KL through and through. Dan kemudiannya ada third layer. Third layer itu adalah bahawa KL bukan setakat menang final, tapi menang menewaskan pasukan terbaik mungkin kita boleh katakan di Asia Tenggara. Defeating the best team you could probably say in Southeast Asia, and that has not been done a lot of the times in the last 10 years or so. Very difficult to do. Bukan sekadar nak menewaskan mereka dalam final dan mencatat clean sheet dalam proses menewaskan mereka. Bukan sesuatu yang mudah. Jadi mengambil kira perlawanan final yang berlaku pada tahun 2021, apa lessons ataupun apa moments daripada perlawanan itu yang boleh dibawa masuk ke dalam perlawanan final yang bakal berlangsung hujung minggu ini menentang
Simple
JDT.
tagline untuk ni adalah nothing is impossible. When you have faith, when you have trust, when you have unity, everything is possible. So this shows football is more than talent, more than skill, it's more than what technically you can do. It's an emotion, it's an feeling, it's an belief, it's an trust. So when you have all this blended together, impossible is nothing in football.
How many times do you hear a manager say they wanted it more than us? They were hungrier than us. They were more confident. They were braver than us. A coach, somebody who gets paid to do tactical things, trains every day, and he's saying emotions. Because in the end, that is the fundamental factor. Being brave, camaraderie, all these things they're the edge, They, like, once again, we're going on a spiel about how good we did, and we're taking nothing away, like you said, from Johor. Johor have been so dominant, But that was one thing that exceeded on that day. We had all those emotions on the ultimate human peak that you can have them, and fortunately, it fell our way.
It was an incredible game of football in 2021, dan sejujurnya saya tak cukup sabar untuk menantikan final Piala FA hujung minggu ni. Kita berharap akan dapat satu lagi perlawanan yang ikonik, satu lagi perlawanan yang luar biasa dari segi kualiti di atas padang. Dan saya nak mengucapkan terima kasih kepada anda kerana sudi bersama kita hari ini, dan juga good luck for the FA Cup final. We can't wait to be in Johor to watch the game as well. Thank you so much, Gigi.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Jumpa korang kat final Piala FA. Terima kasih kerana menonton Astro Arena di YouTube. Untuk aksi-aksi sukan tanah air secara langsung, langgan pack sukan Astro untuk dapatkan akses anda.